listening to the most original talk radio station anywhere. We are LA Talk Radio at latalkradio.com.
You're listening to Howie Unveils God's Shield with Jim Howie Mandel Jr. right here on LA Talk Radio.
That's right, ladies and gentlemen, you are live today, November 9th, 2010, with Jim Howie Mandel Jr. I am your host for this next hour on Howie Unveils God's Shield. Man, we got a great show lined up for you today. As always, our sponsors, njslea.org. I just want to overshadow some news here real quick as we're moving forward into today's show. As everybody knows, we have another website, the JerichoMarch.org, where we have all our documents posted. And then we have HowieUnveilsGodShield.com, which is a precursor to the radio show, where we have archived radio shows, a lot of information that we go over throughout the show, throughout today's show especially. And everybody knows that you can go there 24/7, 365, listen to our shows, and be part of our audience and our community. You can also reach me at jim@njslea.org. Two things I want to go over real quick in the news. We spoke about this last week and the week before in regards to Islamic law and Sharia law. As we have seen in news here over the last couple of days, Sharia law is making inroads into Oklahoma. We've discussed it on the show. It is a challenge for us here as American culture and as American society. So please pay attention to that. You can see the updates on the website, Howie Unveils God's Shield, and also the inflation challenges that were coming through as a country. We spoke about that on last week's show. Both of those involve the government. Both of those are involving a cultural change within this country that we're seeing shift here over the last couple of years. Massive inflation, massive debt, taking money from the rich, giving it to the poor, taking money from the working class, giving it to the non-working class. And so we're seeing this cultural shift. And on today's show, we're going to really get into a cultural shift when it comes to the Constitution. The Constitution is the foundational document that gives this country life. It's given this country the ability to be flexible throughout the 200-300 years of our existence, to formulate strategic plans to move us to become the number one superpower, the number one economy in the world today. And so there are some constitutional challenges that we've seen take place over the last 10, 15, 20 years, but I believe they're culminating over the last year or two. And what we're going to do right now is we're going to come forth with Mario Appuzo and Charles Kerchner. Charles Kerchner is an individual who's gone forth. He's made his way right now with what's called a writ of certiorari. I believe I said that correctly. And what this is this could potentially be one of the grievous acts against the Constitution that we've seen. Is President Obama's citizenship legitimized by his birth in regards to what the Constitution states is mandated to be a sitting president? So with that, I'm going to bring on Mario Appuzo, the attorney in the challenge here in regards to the Constitution. Mario, you with us out there, sir?
Yes. Hi, Jim. It's a pleasure to be with you and with your listening audience, and also with my client, Commander Kerchner.
Thank you so much for joining us. Mario, I understand that I'm going to give you the ball to run with here. This is an opportunity for you to set the record straight and the tone straight. I don't really want to go into President Obama real quick. I want to go into some checks and balances. There are checks and balances within the Constitution that basically would prohibit this type of grievous act potentially. And those, do you think that obviously Obama is a very charismatic individual. He is a very well-spoken individual. He could not be put into the position that he's in by himself. There has to be an underlying.
He's a puppet. George Soros and Bill Ayers and those people are behind him. Sure.
Now, how come your movement, and Mario, you can understand this from the legal aspect, how come with your going before the Supreme Court, you're not receiving the media attention as other individuals are?
Well, first of all, you have to think, why are they all acting the same? Now that's very suspicious and very scary when you think that they called each other up on the phone or they had a little meeting to decide to act all the same. Now, when I say all the same, let's talk about the major television channels and the major newspapers or the major radio stations. Why are they all acting the same? Okay, that doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. So somebody, somewhere, somehow said something where that they're all on board that this particular issue cannot be discussed. And what's the policy behind it? What is the policy? Is it fear of being labeled a racist? I mean, we're talking about the first African American president here, and this had to happen. It's unfortunate. It really is. Okay, but we can't let the color.
African American in our cultural sense, but his father was from Southern Africa. Yeah.
Well, whatever he is, okay, that doesn't matter.
Right.
But the point is that we can't let a skin color or a religion or a whether you're a woman or a man or whatever the case is, we can't let that be a free pass when we're talking about running a nation and preserving its people and its values and its culture. It just can't
Mario,
be.
do you remember the group that they exposed, though, that did show the media was operating in cahoots, called the Journalists? 400 leading writers for major media, newspapers and TV, cable, and networks were all in cahoots in this secret blog deciding how to inflate the image of Obama and ridicule and push off the people who were criticizing him over the eligibility or some other issue. That was one recent expose of the collusion in the media who wanted their anointed one. They had skin in this game. For the first time in our history, nobody in the major media vetted one of the parties. They all were acting in collusion because he was their anointed one. The socialists control our media. They've been working at it for 60 years, and they've now got total control of it. Now, the other issue was the Congress. Why did they all act in cahoots? And Mario, through a confidential source, just recently got hold of a congressional talking points memo, which was not released to the public and not put online anywhere, but only delivered by paper copies to every member of Congress, of what to tell the citizens when they ask you about Obama's citizenship. Correct, Mario?
Okay,
you got a copy of that sent to you in the mail. So they were all told what to say.
Okay, Commander, before we move into that paper there, let me just recap real quick from the audience the positions that we're in here right now. We're talking the constitutional legitimacy of Obama. You have brought forth that he is not a natural-born citizen. You've explained it here over the last 20 minutes on what qualifies for that from the constitutional position, from the founding fathers, even from the scriptural principles. Okay, now you have a charge against Pelosi, a charge against Dick Cheney, and, of course, a charge against Obama in being illegitimate based on the Constitution.
And the U.S. Congress as a whole. We've sued the whole Congress for their failure to vet him at the joint session of Congress.
Okay, so then the whole Congress as a whole to vet him in the position of the Constitution and what is required as a natural-born citizen. Now, with
people
that
should
being
know
said,
the 20th Amendment requires the president to be qualified.
Okay.
And they didn't do it.
Here now, what facts, and this is where my next question was going, we just encapsulated the constitutional aspect of it. We just encapsulated the definition of natural-born citizen. We've encapsulated what separates your case from other cases that have tried to go before the court system. What facts do you have? Because, and here's the reason I'm going to this. Nobody in the media wants to touch this, and you've had Bill O'Reilly, who carries 4 to 7, 8 million listeners, probably a night, probably 30, 40 million listeners a week, say that I've personally saw President Obama's birth certificate. Now, put aside the Constitution.
You made an untrue statement.
Well, let me ask this question this way. Put aside the constitutional stuff now. We just encapsulated all that. We understand that there's some grievous issues with the Constitution. Where now do we go with the lie, basically what you're saying, that Bill O'Reilly said to the facts that you have, Charles and Mario, from the legal fact side of it? What documents do you have? What evidence do you have to prove your position on his constitutional violations?
You're turning the issue upside down, Jim. He has to prove he's eligible. If you want to be a police officer or a college professor, you have to prove you have the qualifications that are required for that job. If you want to be a mayor of a town and the town bylaws and charters say you must be living in the town to be the mayor, you got to be living in the town. You got to prove it. Now, to be president, there's only 3 qualifications: commander of army, natural-born citizen, have lived in the country 14 years, and Mario, help me, the third one.
Residency?
14 years.
Residency, age.
Yeah, age, 35
14 years resident, 35 years age, natural-born citizen.
Yeah, simple as that. He has to prove that. And normally you'd be asked those to prove that. If nobody brings up any questions, then nobody asks. But 500,000 people sent petitions to Congress asking them to say, prove that he's a natural-born citizen. And Congress refused to hold a hearing. They did it for John McCain. They wouldn't do it. We can't let the other side turn and say we got to prove he's not. He has to prove he is.
Okay, I'll give you that for the dialogue we're having now. He has to prove that he is, but let's just say, for argument's sake, that he never does. Because what I understand, Mario and Charles, and you guys can definitely enlighten me on this, he has spent $2 to $3 million to hide his documents. So it's apparent that he's not going to legitimize his citizenship. So in that sense of him not going to legitimize his citizenship, what documents do you have that would trump somebody like Bill O'Reilly to say that I've seen his birth certificate?
To this day, have yet to confirm that. All it is something posted on the Internet.
So, Mario, all they've done is taken a digitized copy of this certification of live birth and verified that, yes, that is a certification of live birth. They haven't really given a paper copy to anybody.
It's worse than that, Jim.
No.
The image examiners say they created the image out of whole cloth and then printed out a piece of paper from that.
Hawaii never said that what was on the computer is real. They never said that. Okay? All they say is, oh, yeah, we've got the file here, they say. We've got the records here, and he's born in Hawaii. So what does that mean? That we have to accept their word on what they're looking at, which we don't know what they're looking at. But they never said that what's on the computer is an authentic, real document. Okay? Obama never said that what's on that computer, that he had anything to do with it, that he actually put it there, that thing is real. He never said that. You won't find one statement from him saying that was there. All we know is that somebody, they say his campaign, that's what, what's said, okay? Well, who? What? How? When was this document obtained? It was, according to the document, it was obtained in 2007 and posted in 2008.
Jim, if you have to take your child to school and get them enrolled in school, you have to bring in a birth certificate. Can you bring a computer in on your laptop and show it to them and say, here it is? Take that?
Nope, sure can't. We're down to about a minute and a half. I'm going to give you that minute to finish it up, but then I'm going to need about 30 seconds to wrap it up. So you got about a minute to put your information out there, sir.
Okay, so what happened is, back on the writ now, the defendants have decided not to file an opposition to our writ of certiorari, which basically means that we're asking the Supreme Court to review this case. The case was dismissed not on the merits, not on anything they were talking about here. Okay, they dismissed it saying that Mr. Kerchner and my other clients don't have an injury. Okay, that everybody in the whole United States has been injured by this. Therefore, it's not something for the court to handle. It's something for the political branches to handle. Now, surely we can't ask Obama to handle it. Congress, we can't ask them to handle it because they were already asked, and they refused to do it. So it's only left in the courts. So they refused to do it. So now, on the 23rd of November, the Supreme Court is going to have a conference. They're going to decide whether or not to take this case. That's where we are.
I understand that. Okay, so, ladies and gentlemen, ProtectOurLiberty.org. Charles Kerchner, retired military, took an oath to defend our Constitution. He is moving forward in that oath. Thank you for taking this on for the American people, for the listening audience. ProtectOurLiberty.org. Gentlemen, I thank you so much. And we're wrapping up the show, ladies and gentlemen. We are on iTunes. Give us about a day. On iTunes, you can download this. Please spread the word. ProtectOurLiberty.org. You can make a donation to this cause, to this movement. Howie, Unveils, God's Shield is over. Till next week.
You're listening to Howie Unveils God's Shield